We're back. Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, what is this, episode 78? God
Sounds
damn.
good.
and,
Yep,
and,
78.
there was a topic that, I wasn't going to talk about, even on the show, but, it's becoming more and more apparent, at least to us and the rest of the people who work behind the scenes at ABB, that apparently we are under some sort of censorship. Our viewer count on Facebook is giving out false information. um,
Yeah, I've noticed that many times on my different videos, depending on the topic.
uh, yeah, at first the last show, a little FYI for our, other people out there, that if you stream certain material, for anybody who wants to start streaming, out on Facebook, that, Facebook has this bot in the background that samples video, kind of like there's an app out there. It's been out for a few years now. It's called holy shit. It's called Shazam, and that's kind of similar technology that Facebook has been using on the back end. But I thought that was what was going on, but now I'm like 100% certain that there is more than the amount of viewers that are actually watching. So that's why any of our viewers, hey, if you really want to check us out, on any other alternative platform, we are on Twitch. You won't find all the episodes there because Twitch only saves your videos for I think if you have like a Twitch Master account, like you might be able to watch it for like 60 days, but other than that, they don't hold stuff on their servers for too long. Also, check us up on our YouTube channel. The link is in the description on the file. I mean, on the link on the show link here on Facebook. So on to starters. This is something that I've been, harping on, here and there, but Million Mask March. It's coming up. It's around the corner. And to be honest, I haven't been seeing. I mean, I've been seeing like the major events, Million Mask March, down in DC. Of course, that's going to happen. But I'm just going to ask you guys: have you guys been seeing a lot of stuff for the other cities that have been doing it? Because I've been looking around. I haven't been seeing too much.
You're good.
Same on your end.
Same.
Yeah. I was actually kind of shocked. There's a page out there with 2,500 likes, which really isn't that much. I mean, but it's been around for a while. Million Mask March, Los Angeles, and Los Angeles being one of the major cities. There hasn't been an event made, a march made. Any planning. So in the next, a couple of guys on the back end of ABB in the next following weeks will start making events if they aren't already made for certain cities. Because I've been constantly getting messages Kate, can I get can I get a complete list of locations for the Million Mask March in my city? And for a while there, I was telling people, if you don't see it, then you should probably start making that. That was about 2 months ago, and I really haven't seen too much progression on a lot of the Million Mask March event pages, at least on Facebook, other than people who have been doing their own initiative and making the events themselves. Um, common mistakes that Facebook users do on making an event. If you aren't tied to a Facebook page, if you guys make an event, it's probably better that you do it, at least for the Million Mask March. Do it with a big page. A lot more people are gonna see it. If you guys are doing it on your own, you live in a small city. I don't know. I don't really know your situation. when you guys make a Facebook event, make sure, because the default settings when you set up a Facebook event for anything, it's normally set to private. Um, it's normally set to private. So if you're gonna do that when you're making an event page for your Million Mask March and you're your own little city, you're not being tied to a page. You're sharing it within your friends. You know it's not going to be a big march in your city. Make sure that you set that settings from private to public. It makes it 100% different. That way, the other people you don't know can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, you don't want to get reported down. A
Oh
lot of
yeah,
people hate that. Man.
yes, that is another thing. So yeah, yeah. If you guys, always have a backup plan. If you think that your event might be reported, try and keep a list of the people. If it starts getting bigger and bigger, try and keep a list of the people that are there. Try and keep in contact. Maybe even have a Facebook chat if you guys are doing the event. If you guys are going to be doing the event on Facebook. It just
Use your
keeps it.
Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Um, you know, what else was I gonna say? I have one of those stoner moments. um, oh yeah.
Seems like some of the viewers are a little bit angry with the censorship.
Oh, let me see.
Got 52 comments and only 7 people watching. Yeah, okay, there's something wrong with that Facebook.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Judy. We are noticing a censorship going on with our affiliated with our Facebook page. This isn't the first time that's happened. It's happened a couple other shows, but we've noticed this for a while, but it's becoming to the point where, yes, since the somebody else put on our page, since the 9/11 episode, it's just never been this bad. So there are more than 8 people watching, or whatever number you're seeing on your end.
Yeah, and I think we all understand that our viewers are smart enough they're woke as fuck. They understand that the maths behind this. And you can't have like 20 people commenting and then only 5 people viewing. That just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I've said this for a while, and a lot of people haven't have caught on to this. Some people have caught on as well. I hate to say this, but I think some of the back end shit is a little more than just algorithms, if you know what I mean. I think
Yeah.
I've often suspected they're using some form of AI on some of their shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been in groups that had over 250,000 people in it, and they're all there for script, hardware, software, or whatever. And as soon as it gets 250,000, Facebook will completely wipe it out and destroy it, which is a shame. Because all these people come together, hey, their math skills are getting better, their programming skills are getting better, and Facebook's like, oh, hey, let us shut you down, click, and nobody knows who to talk to anymore. It's not easy to trust people and rebuild groups like that.
Yeah, they're almost
Right.
impossible. They're almost impossible once they get wiped out.
Yeah, and
unless you
then
guys
you
had
got
unless you guys had a common hub, like a page that was affiliated with it.
and you got 3 or 4 men that are fighting for 8 or 9 profiles, they don't know. They're trying to conceal their identity, but
But also moving back to the Million Mask March, Buffalard said, was a Million Mask March happening in Canada? Also, I've never seen it in my city. Honestly, I don't know. I think there have been marches in Canada. I'm not really too keen on the up and up on what happens in Canada with the Million Mask March. The only thing I do know
maybe try with Vancouver or Halifax community for the Million Mass March in Canada. Halifax usually has a page up.
Yeah, I'm looking through. So if you type in Million Mask March on Facebook, and you'll see the first thing that populates is the events. And then you hit search all or show all, and it'll show all the cities so far, or states or countries that are involved in some kind of march for this November. We have Romania, we have Austin, Texas, we have Amsterdam, We have a plethora of different places. Cologne.
Do you see Los
Probably said that
Angeles or
wrong.
Chicago?
Not
Exactly.
Washington D.C. I see Houston. I see Stockholm. Let's see. And a lot of these are not titling it correctly either.
Yes,
They're doing just Million Mask March without showing the city or state.
yeah, I don't, I do know one of the admins on the back of the Chicago Anonymous, and yes, they are a great page. But yes, they slacked off last year, and they had named their event the official Chicago Anonymous, um, um, a Million Mass March. Um, Heads up, guys, if you guys are listening into the Midwest or you're in the Chicago area or anywhere in the Midwest, you want to go down to the Chicago Anonymous or the Chicago Million Mass March on November 5th. I'll tell you where it's at. I've been there for the Million Mass March in Chicago. Just go to Union Station, be there somewhere around 11 a.m., and then you guys will march from Union Station all the way down to the Bean. Make sure, on any Million Mask March, that you guys bring posters, flyers, um, megaphones, memes, anything you.
Yeah, I would bring USB drives with every WikiLeaks document on them and just share them out to the masses.
Also,
please take your little Faraday box so that way they're not killing you with the stingray and the ultrasonic waves.
well, yeah, that was another thing.
Be prepared to video and not live stream. I mean, you can, but have a backup as video.
Yeah, carry something with you beside your cell phone to record because they'll be out there trying to disrupt the live stream for sure. They have before in the past.
For the people who live in small towns, even in large cities, the common places you guys want to hit is, town halls, places of government. Someplace you'll get noticed and seen. I believe out in Los Angeles last year there was two that were going on. There was one out in Redondo Beach and the other one in downtown LA. I believe last year most of the people showed up at Redondo Beach due to it's a little easier to get to Redondo Beach than the downtown LA. I understand the downtown LA is not the most parking friendly place for people a couple thousand people to meet up, but it does make more of an effect if you are going to be doing a Million Mass March, somewhere in downtown LA. That's just me personally.
Why not right outside the CNN building?
Is that in downtown?
I think so.
CNN building. The media.
Well, there is one out right now for downtown LA. It's done by a page that only has 44 likes. That will change soon. I've tried messaging Million Mass March Los Angeles several times. There's been no real update on their page, so a few of us are going to take the initiative and start planning that out.
Well, that's in Hollywood. It's 6430 Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, is that the one that you're seeing? I was seeing the one that was at the one that was made from the page that had 44 people. It's
Oh no, I was just thinking of a great place to.
the Scientology.
That would be good too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's one planned on 5th Street near the town hall. Is that a good area? I really don't know.
Yeah, they disrupt all the mainstream media that you can. Make sure to bring a lot of attention to it.
Another thing that our viewers want to do. If you guys want to live stream it, go ahead and live stream it. You might be censored, but always remember when you're out there streaming, if you are going to be streaming it, make sure you bring up a portable battery.
Yes.
typically what happens when you're out there streaming, it's eating up a lot of data. Yeah, you go through your battery in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I have now 8 big 10 amp batteries that I keep with me at all times. I just got 2 more for the Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey. But yeah, you got to have batteries. You got to have cables.
Yeah, me myself. I'm holding on to like one of those 4,000 milliamp ones that can go
Right.
like a couple hours. So
Yeah, we go with the 10 amp ones because with live streaming, it takes a lot of juice. So
yeah,
you can go for about 6 or 7 hours with a 10 amp live streaming all day.
let me see what else.
I'm glad to see you're okay too, Ed.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. We thought we were going to get demolished. I really thought we were going to die because mainstream media told me that we were going to die. And then, we found out that it was a Category 2 by the time it got to us. Category 1.
We still got.
We were sitting here talking about they thought they were driving near it, but they're going to be in the middle of it. Oh.
Yeah.
And then your car got hit by lightning.
Well, and that was crazy, right? So, I was on the show, and the car didn't get hit by lightning. We found out later that it was the neighborhood next to us, but it was pretty close. And the whole neighborhood, all their power went out. Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
My mom is out there, and she was saying that I don't know. She's like me, and trust your gut, and shit. Usually, she says the people are making a big hype out of it. It's not going to be that bad,
Yep.
And it really wasn't.
Now, if it had stayed on present course, going from the Atlantic and not going down to Cuba, just going right into Miami, then yeah, there was no slowing it down. It would have hit that shore and just demolished everything. But it decided to braille and kind of go all over the place, and then it finally went down. And unfortunately, demolished the islands. If we had boats and we had access to be able to get to those islands, you would see actual devastation. Unfortunately, they're not allowing many people down there right now. So we decided to come back to Austin, to Houston, to cover what's going on out here.
Yeah.
Well, the islands are pretty well ravaged. Last I seen, the islands are pretty much ravaged. Everything from St. Martin to the Florida Keys. They're robbing each other and chasing each other with machetes around a couple of those little islands.
Yeah, we were onto that. On the back end channels that we're talking on the ABB is that there was a little bit. There was a lack of media attention on some of these islands and what had happened. It was actually It's actually a lot worse on what's going on in the aftermath, and the death tolls were skewed.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have taken much at all. It would have taken one of these guys to set up a live stream with a 360 Samsung camera to show what was going on, but they either just didn't care or didn't want to spend the little amount of money that it would have taken to do so. Us individual media people, we don't have those resources.
Like a helicopter, Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Anderson Cooper was there where we were at for 2 seconds and then got in his helicopter or plane or whatever and left. And we were still there throughout the storm. We rode it out. I was actually out in the storm. A transformer blew up. I was scared shitless. But that was it. I was that was it. Rain, rain, rain. I got all wet. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I remember there were reporters there. I actually caught reporters trying to make things look worse than they really were.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And I saw one of them jumping in front of they know where the wind would be worse to do a shot, and then they would jump back. And I'm like, I hate to say this, but man, I know you guys are under the gun and you guys are getting paid to come up with something, but come on, dude, that's I don't know.
Yeah, MSNBC they actually caught themselves. So one of the people was downtown, I believe it was Tampa or something, Fort Myers maybe. The other guy was in a parking structure or something, on the 5th floor. And they're both wondering why, you're maybe 5 minutes away from me, but your view is showing that you're getting battered and everybody's gonna die. And this guy in the downtown area is just sitting there, like the wind's not even moving him. Cars are just going by. It just looked really bad.
Yeah, I caught.
And they even like. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they even like kind of called each other out, but like did it in a way that like didn't make them totally look like assholes. Just like try to throw some science out there to factually show how this could happen without realizing that they just effed up by showing both scenes on the TV at the same time.
And around the corner, the guy with the bucket isn't up in the 30th floor dumping shit.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important for folks like all of us that actually know how to critically think, that actually know how to research information, so that we can show these phonies for what they're really doing. There was millions of people that left the state because of this, and they were all returning when we were leaving and like eating up all these resources as they came back. There was no need for all those people to leave.
Yeah, I would say maybe in the Miami area. I mean, there was some flooding, but like nothing compared to some of the places I've lived. I mean,
Right.
I've seen flooding.
I think Miami had some of the roads to wash off.
I'm like I've seen flooding like that on the fucking south side of fucking Chicago. I mean, like, I'm like, you know what people do is they get their fucking car and they go around it.
Yeah.
There's usually you can usually go a couple blocks down the other way and it's not as bad.
Right. Yeah.
So Jesus is coming back September 23rd, yeah?
Yeah.
Rolling for Jesus.
So yeah,
I'm glad they let us know. That's good.
There's a lot of hype, and I first heard about this when I was looking at the eclipse videos, right? And there was a lot of these. Apparently, the talk has been going on, I think, for a lot longer than this. But I was first onto it about a month ago when the eclipse was going on, that you could just see on certain places, mostly North America. And there was some people talking about like what this meant in accordance to like whatever I don't know, revelations or something. And then people say this all the time, but apparently they're what's saying it is that Jesus is going to come back or some shit next week. And their theory is.
Wait, did you just throw that time out there, or did they actually say next week?
Well, they think they think that the fucking
Thursday? Can they do it on Thursday? That's gonna take up heaps of my time, really, and I don't really have.
He's gonna do it on a Saturday, dude.
We've been waiting like 3,000 years. What's the extra day, right?
Well, my grass is getting mighty high. Jesus needs to come along and help me out.
Well, I mean, like some of what they're saying is like kind of like sort of like lining up with stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that they say in like the Bible kind of does line up with like astrological signs. What they think is referring to Revelations 12 was I guess there's this lady and she goes out and she has 12 stars in her head. What they think they were referring to was like the constellation Virgo and Leo, the Leo being the 9 stars in her head, and the 3 extra planets that will be there on September 23rd will make it the 12 stars, and the sun would be near her head and the moon near her feet. But I'm like, well, that's like one interpretation of what's going there. People have been trying to figure this out since like forever, what the fuck it means.
Yeah, if it doesn't add up to pi.
Right now, this seems bad. Like, right now, this seems bad, and you're thinking, oh, it's the apocalypse, we're all going to die. This ain't shit compared to the Black Plague, right? And they were 100%. We are fucked. This is it, guys. And, nah, turned out. Yeah, I'm not going to bet. I guess I'm not going to bet money on it.
But you're like, you have that penny in the back of your head. You're like, well, maybe it might happen, so I'm gonna fucking call my tongue.
Yeah, who actually? Okay, so
I've seen some crazy. Right? I've seen some crazy shit recently, so I mean, I'm not gonna count it completely out. But I'm also
you better quit laughing,
I'm also not gonna clear my schedule.
Well, there was that one year. Everybody went a little gaga over the Aztec calendar. I think it was August that year as well, the Aztec calendar. It was supposed to be the year of the clown or something.
Yeah, nothing ever happened. You know what? You know what was actually kind of weird about that is that they there were some other guys that kind of like did the original guy who trying to figure out Codex, right? They're saying that the numbers that they could have thought that year zero was at on the Mayan calendar might have not actually been year zero. It might have been like completely way fucking off, or it might have even happened already.
You know, they always say that though, like, oh, it was, I meant, okay, yeah, I know I told everybody it was going to be today was the end of the world, but it turns out my math was a little off. It's just going to be a couple more days, guys, I promise. Just hold on.
September 23rd, 2017. It was a year off, year and a half.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't. Fuck, man.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to next Saturday, either ways.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, Taco Tuesdays. Now, our Taco Tuesday, is that, can we still do that during the apocalypse, or is that completely out?
Taco
Because
Tuesday?
I'd rather
Taco
enjoy
Tuesdays? I don't know about Taco Tuesdays, but we're all in trouble with Thirsty Thursday isn't around.
Well, and I mean by actual biblical story, okay, we do have, you know, we've got 1,000 years of peace in between the actual apocalypse and the second coming of Christ. So Christ comes back, everybody gets raptured, then we chill here for 1,000 years in peace before it comes to an end. I'm probably not going to live 1,000 years, so I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. So what? All the angry Christians are leaving, and then we get 1,000 years of peace. I don't know.
Wow. You're just making it sound good from over here.
Yeah, that's how it works. They, for some reason, I don't understand why all of these people are so like excited about the like apocalypse. You know, like the world that they're talking about. You know, like the end timers. You're always kind of like, God, that sounds like a nightmare. Why are you so happy about this?
Well, and it's already happening too. So like they're a little late on all the dates. I mean, they're looking for these dates ahead when it's already happening.
Well, and like the stuff that, as long as it doesn't have to do with climate change, then it doesn't count as the apocalypse. Now, if you came in and told them that the reason that California was on fire was because of Hillary Clinton, they would go nuts. Hell yeah, that shit is true, right? But because you say it's because of climate change, if there was just a way that we could blame Hillary for the hurricanes, there would be changes to fossil fuels like immediately if that was the case.
Well, they both start with H.
Hillary named her book "My Struggle," and then like
I bet she fucking did. I can't believe she wrote
a book called "My Struggle." I saw that.
Yeah. Can't believe she should have named it Mein Kampf because that's what my struggle is.
I just can't believe, like, okay, we're not even, like, we're still like shoveling out the shit that you caused to begin with. How could somebody have the audacity to write a book and it not be named "I Fucked Up"?
I heard a psychopath.
I heard on Amazon that they were deleting her 1-star reviews on Amazon.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, do you think that she might be able to fake us another fucking system? Like, no surprise, Amazon's taken off the ones. I think CNN and NBC both took off the 1-star ratings as well.
Well, she actually admitted to screwing up her own election, which she did.
Well, not really.
This one or the pre, like how many times she ran for president? The answer is no. It's not us, it's you.
Yeah, I was actually watching a movie the other night called American History X. I believe she was trying to run for president during that time that movie was made.
Oh yeah, like, okay, America is arguably one of they still execute black folk in the fucking street here, but yet you could not beat a black man named Barack Hussein Obama in the middle of the fucking Iraq war. There is nobody on the planet that you could not beat, you know what I mean, that you would be able to beat to run for president at that. Once she lost to Obama, that is it. There was nobody you couldn't beat in America. I'm not saying he wasn't qualified. I'm just saying he's black. They shoot black people in the street for like daylight.
Come on, he's half designated white guy.
Yeah, but they normally, you don't get to turn it on and off like that. Like when they pull you over, like, okay, guys, I'm half white. So, cool, you can put your guns away.
Let me roll down my socks. Have a look.
Yeah, have a sec. Here, hold on. Like, I'm supposed to pick like a picture of my mom. Be like, hey, look, she got red hair, guys. Guns away, guns away. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. She's Irish. Her last name's Day. Look at it right there. Like, I try to keep in like pictures of us together, so they just don't think that I like robbed some white woman for her fucking IP.
I stole these pictures out of the black guy's house.
Have you seen this one? Have you seen this picture? There you go. There you go. My struggle is just like the way it's written.
Oh. Ed's still on here. Ed, tell us, Ed's our designated police. He talks to the cops for us. He's our guy. You're talking on the drive up here. They're just driving along like I'm white down the fucking highway, like 85 miles an hour. And they're like, what? I'm like, they will fucking shoot me. 20 over is like an executable, right? They just open up at the car at that point. He's like, I didn't know. I noticed you fell behind. Did you notice that one cop from Sarasota, like when we went from Sarasota down to here, that asshole followed me for like 12, you know what I mean? 12 exits. There is so much going on, and they had to like follow me to make sure I wasn't fucking speeding or, I don't know. I'm driving into a hurricane. I'm already going to my death. What the fuck do you care?
No, you're storm chasing while black. That's not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like worse than Sharknado. They were like, there's black people coming with the storm.
They're blowing in. This one you need a little Mexican with you.
Did any of the emergency funding, ever get to Texas by now, for the victims yet? Or are they still
the victims?
Yeah.
Because climate change. Yeah, they are victims of ExxonMobil.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where to bury the survivors.
Yeah.
I like on a small scale. So I mean, with the like independent groups that have been down there and delivering supplies, and the ones that we work at, yeah, we've been kicking ass. Now, FEMA, I don't think I have to tell you guys.
Oh yeah, they told us the New World Order is coming, and that the Houstonians have to prepare for. Remember that? That was some creepy. That was some.
Oh
creepy
yeah,
talk.
that's right.
Okay, well, I mean, Ed, I don't know. This may be the New World Order that they were warning us about, but they bought like 1 million bullets, but then forgot to buy like solar generators, so they have plenty of guns, but no way to get people power.
Yeah.
Which seemed to be a
they had
lot
all the
more.
people herded into the ball stadium too.
It's all for your protection, right? Or for your safety. Bullets.
That's always what they use.
Yeah, so there
There's
was
a bullet for each of you.
and then there used to be a little bit of a problem where we funded like trillions of dollars for our military, but then gave like a couple billion to FEMA. So like even if they wanted to help, they don't have any more money, which you would think would be really hard to run out with. They didn't figure that there was going to be more than one storm a year, I guess. I don't know. You're supposed to be prepared for emergencies, but yet that seems to be the one thing that they didn't quite remember to do. Like they got the trains and the cattle carts and the police and the guns, but then like the emergency aspect, totally forgot about it.
Well, see, if they denied generators,
in case of a zombie outbreak.
Did anybody actually download that FEMA app, the one that the government sponsored?
No.
A FEMA app on my phone? No.
No.
In fact, I downloaded that. Please
Hell
don't
no.
even stand next to me.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that FEMA had an app with a GPS that enabled. I think it integrates with your GPS location. Like I'm like,
Oh,
what?
I'm sure.
I'm like, no, you guys are
It
not gonna. I'm
integrates.
not that stupid.
It
Yeah,
integrates with the fusion center.
yeah. So I
That's
mean,
what
that bad boy, you download it and it needs your GPS, your social security number, your phone number, email passwords, probably a list of your 10 closest friends. That sounds about like a FEMA app. How exactly does the app work since my fucking cell phone hasn't worked the entire time we've been down here, and when everybody lost power, the internet went down? What
Well,
am I gonna
the app supposedly
what app are you gonna use?
the app supposedly locates you to a FEMA emergency location so that you can be cattled off into the
Holding facilities?
yeah.
Yeah, the Walmarts and the
Yeah.
football stadiums.
The
So
Walmarts.
anytime that they try to get you to do something like this, in your head, say the same thing in an extremely German accent, and if it gives you the creeps, don't do it.
Oh, breaking news! Breaking news! This was something that I was talking
Yeah,
about.
so I just need you to download some software on your phone, and then we'll know your location before we send you to camps.
I'll just have my black friend go over there and scream some German at him. That'll get him moving. He speaks German, man. He's hardcore at it. He scares people. There's a black German.
Yeah, it messes Germans especially. It messes with their mind. They don't expect like anybody other than Germans to ever speak German, so they speak like pretty freely around you, not realizing that you also speak German. But the point is, if you can't say it in a German accent and it starts to give you the creeps, I wouldn't do it with any government. With any government, the same with the you guys know in Houston they like release tons and tons and tons of chemicals into the atmosphere, like 3 times now. So once when they turned off the machines, like the processing for the fuel, right? When the storm came through and blew all the extra chemicals around, and then when they turn them back on, I guess it releases another couple of tons of chemicals into the environment. And the EPA came out the same day and said there's no problems with the exposure or anything. Everybody's okay. Nothing to see here. Just keep walking. Even though the machines that they use to test for these chemicals, they shut them all down when the storm came. So they don't even know.
Well, I do have, there is, they are pretty open about some of the. You're talking about cloud seeding, right?
No. I'm talking about the chemicals that they just released from. I'm talking about the benzene processing chemicals that they released during the hurricane in Texas. This
I
is
don't
like
know.
right now, 90 tons worth of chemicals they released into the air. Not just what like washed around from the fun sites and all of that crap, but what the plants released into the air and told the EPA about it. So I mean, you can already think that those numbers, they might as well have not said anything at all. Right? Those numbers are so far from what the actual truth is. But the chemical company
Wow.
said, yeah, we released this much because
You said benzene gas,
Yeah,
benzene.
benzene bomb.
yeah,
Benzene is
yeah,
known to
it's
cause cancer. Like benzene, like the I think it's a 6-chain carbon atom that's shaped like a pentagon, and with a double bond on 4 of them. It's known. It says, I think it says on the side of the bottle that shit's known to cause cancer.
oh, this is in like that's it, benzene is like one of the things that was released in there. There's like a list of 100 different chemicals, and all of them are carcinogens, are extremely poisonous, and are not easy to get rid of. But it's very interesting that the same day that these companies came out and said, "Oh, we released about 90 tons worth of chemicals into the air, 90 tons in the air," right? That the EPA said that there's nothing to worry about. You guys can breathe freely. it doesn't meet the maximum to be dangerous of the amount of benzene that you can be exposed to. And the amount of benzene you can be exposed to is fucking zero. You're not supposed to breathe any of it, right? But
I'm sure a lot of that was released into whatever football stadium, baseball stadium a lot of these people were hurt in, or Walmart.
oh, I'm sure there was. I mean, this, like, when it comes to the chemicals and what's going on in Texas right now, it's a complete and utter nightmare. Like, none of these news stories are covering, like, the amount of chemicals that they just, like, sloshed across Texas, and then now back into the Gulf. Ed, can you breathe out there? You good?
So Miko just tried to give me a dog treat. What's that?
So it can cause exposure to benzene when breathed in, can cause neurological issues, as you can see here.
So what do we got going on in North Korea? North Korea has done another rocket test, it looks like.
Yeah.
Whenever Japan,
yeah, that was another thing. That was another thing I wanted to talk about, but it wasn't North Korea. But yeah, that came up as soon as I was coming home. Yeah, North Korea launched another ICBM. I believe it was over Japan.
You gotta love the guy. You know what I mean? Like, against all odds, he don't give a fuck. We've got, like, you know what I mean? We've got so many nuclear weapons pointed at so many people right now. I just don't understand, like, why we give so much of a fuck about. Tried to blow up, like, most of the South Pacific with nuclear bombs. Oh! Hey, you remember when we nuked Japan twice?
wow, yeah, Hiroshima and
Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
Yeah, it just seems like. Look, I mean, like, I don't see why the world can't say, look, Kim Jong-un has nuclear weapons. Look, man, if you fire those nuclear weapons at anybody, we'll erase your country from fucking existence.
Well, why doesn't anybody like? I don't understand. Like, we just let this.
Then why does it matter? Like,
I don't know. We let this guy like. I mean, they're not like hitting anything, but like he likes to scare the shit out of people.
We're very easily scared.
He just don't have nothing else to do. He wants to bomb bombs off of Ocean.
Look, we make these resolutions and we'd like to starve him into some masked, like, enemy somewhere, and at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. Build all the nuclear weapons you want, test them on your own soil, nation sovereignty, I don't know, build a fucking wall so Americans can't get in, I don't know, but it's your country. Do what you want to do in there as long as it's not a human rights violation, and if you nuke any of your neighbors, we will flatten your entire country. That's it.
Well, he's not killed his uncle or his brother, whoever that was.
Like, $1 million game with it.
Yeah, he killed his cousin in China. I don't know.
George Bush invaded Iraq and hung Saddam Hussein. I don't give a fuck. Like, our leaders are such horrible bastards. Does it particularly matter that another country's leader is a horrible bastard, obsessed with his own military? No, that doesn't surprise me. Is it my problem? No.
You know what I heard? I heard a rumor that he has more tanks than he does soldiers.
It's not. I mean, yeah.
There's a slide over building there.
I wouldn't be surprised. We're also the country that on our rocket launchers it says "this way towards enemy."
Yeah, face front towards enemy. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a fucking idiot. But that's the kind. Like, there's no getting around that.
That's a hate crime there.
Yeah, he tried to like CGI his landing forces in like a promotion that they had put in their like their amphibious vehicles. They had like one of them, and he CGI'd like 10 of them in and like 1,000 troops. But the deal is, the police department of Los Angeles Airport is bigger than his entire military. I am in no fear of North Korea taking over California.
Doesn't get run by
Like, let me get.
computers.
What are you gonna invade Texas? Are you like what exactly are you scared of when it comes to North Korea? Have you been to Texas? I don't like. It's just not reality. There's like 8 guns for every 1 guy. Like just the state of just the civilians in Texas are better armed than all of North Korea.
Hell, Englewood is.
It's probably got more nukes. But yeah, if you want to test a nuclear weapon in your mountain, like every other country on the planet seems to do, right? Then that's your business. That's nation sovereignty. That's not my problem. The line is crossed when you attack your neighbors, and if that day comes, I have no fear that the power of the American military is not in question here. Whether we feel like spending trillions of dollars and wasting all of that manpower to, I don't know. I don't know. What do we want from Kim Jong-un at this point? Because that's not what we went to war with him 50 years ago, right?
They want
Respect.
to stop with his practice.
They want respect.
Oh no, he's gonna flick us off to the very fucking end, man.
Oh yeah.
And we're
He says
And
he's
to be
not
honest,
his
like, how many presidents has his family went through now?
Huh?
he's the third one, isn't he?
The
Well, I
last
mean, he's
of
the third one in his country, but what about our country? We've got one every 4 to 8 years. He's, the North Korean regime has had some staying power.
Well, they're the last of any kind of dynasty other than perhaps the UK, which still has a king and queen governing.
Thailand also, and like I met the king of Thailand. He's real cool. Big into photography. He's like really chilled kind of like very methodical in everything he did. He was very cool. He was cool like that. Very gracious to us and all of that. But there are a few of them. How much power, the Saudi princes and kings, they're not going anywhere.
No.
Not as long as we're paying them. But there are a few monarchies in that, but he's a military dictatorship on top of it, right? He's still doing it old school.
Oh yeah.
He's chosen by God, which I think the English are still chosen by God too. We just don't say it. They don't say it openly anymore.
Oh no, only the Jews. Only the Jews have a land grant from God.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, and with no paperwork too, just a verbal agreement. I don't know if that's going to hold up in court, to be honest with you.
Hey, they're
I'm sure
swearing.
Bernie Bush told them this.
They're swearing to God it's true.
Oh yeah, they are. Can I ask him? Oh no, you can't. You can't ask him. But I'll send you the message. He said, "Number one, all of this is ours, and we're the chosen people. So that's win-win, right, guys?"
You see that chair over there? That's mine too.
What?
Oh yeah, all of this is mine.
I mean, if you're going to write a story about yourself, make it a good one like that, right? It's like, yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, you always make yourself. You make yourself number one, and for being chosen, like some really hard luck there. Some really hard luck and bad decision making. The whole Moses thing kind of bothers me. I don't understand why you needed to kill all of the children that had nothing to do with your issues and not just kill the Pharaoh. I don't know. It just doesn't add up sometimes. Like, it just seemed like, like one guy would have fixed that whole problem rather than just slaughtering all these babies. And the foreskin thing, why do I have to cut off the end of my penis again? To prove that I love God? Can I talk to God about this? Because he made me with the penis in such a configuration, And I would think that he wanted it that way.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of upset that my penis doesn't look like it should have been.
Well, you got cheated 3 inches when you got cut. You know that, right?
I know that. I know that. And for an Irish guy, you need all the inches you can get.
And then you lose your turtleneck for the winter. Yeah.
It's fucking cold, man. You've been to North Dakota? I was happy to be uncut. I could put my hood up. You know what I mean?
But seriously, like, mutilation is not cool, and I don't enjoy it. And I didn't get to make that choice, so I got nobody to sue. I got nobody to talk to.
Well, that was the deal. Like, I got kind of, I came across the doctor with my middle son that was like hell bent on circumcising my son, and I was all like, "Look, man, whatever the fuck you cut off of him, I'm cutting off of you." And like, I said it in that way where like you're joking, but you're looking him in the eyes, meaning like, "Dude, I will seriously start hacking shit off of you. Come near my kid with that scalpel, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he was like hell bent on that, and that would have been the killer too. Like, okay, so wait a minute, you need me to cut off the end of my kid's penis too? I'm just not. Who the fuck are you guys talking to? And can I get a second opinion? I'm not sure if Ball was making me hack shit off.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, like, and you're being like pushed out of your mom's vagina, you don't have that choice. So like,
no, but like in this case, like you can or cannot choose to cut your fingernails.
I know, but I just want.
If we're putting that out there, like, can I just give up the tip of my pinky?
Well, look, the next time
I just want somebody to go back.
Ask them why, Adam and Eve had 2 sons. Where'd the rest of us come from?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to speak for the whole minute, but I never went to church like willingly, so I don't care. I just didn't want my penis to be touched.
I don't honestly, I don't mind it. I went to a Baptist academy, man, at one point, a couple of other religious schools, and I don't know, some of it was kind of fun. They really get into it. It's like, it's good to watch. I don't know.
Yeah, good people, good hangout area, safe environment.
Sometimes they're also like all other like closed religious groups. They got all sorts of problems. But if you're not like emotionally connected to it, it's a wild ride for sure.
Just don't get stuff in the broom closet.
What?
Yeah, there was, all sorts of, but like at this school they did have, and part of it was that I was going to school in Missouri, and the public education system in Missouri is like non-existent, really. Like you go to a building, but they don't teach you shit. And actually, the like Baptist Academy was one of the best schools in the area. But yeah, we did a lot of praying. You got to really, really know your Bible inside and out, which has helped me throughout life in being able to even like conversate from people or know their perspective on certain things. I know on here I joke about it, but when we have more, serious conversations, you know the information that you're talking about, which makes it that much easier to pick apart and have fun with too. Let's be 100% honest. If there is one thing that the world and biblical law has told us, is God has one hell of a fucking sense of humor. Like it has to be hilarious to see this shit going on. So like that I don't mind like making, cracking jokes and all of that, because look, he gave me the ability to laugh and to make these jokes, so I'm gonna use it. And that may be my only in to heaven, right?
What?
Like, I reckon when I get up to the gates, you just start cracking jokes, and hopefully I can get old boy laughing hard enough that they'll let me in and just pull a, you know what, this guy I like. And you said before, like, he's Jewish, right? They love comedians. We should be good.
You'd be a good court jester.
That's my thing, man. Like, I always say that I'm more like a court jester. I realize if anybody else said it, they'd cut off their head, but I'm smiling. I'm joking when I'm saying it.
Looking at Terrence's like list, and he's like, Are you fucking serious?
Who the fuck let this guy in here?
He must have jumped up the escalator.
Give him a table next to Bernie Mac.
Yeah, right. My kid
How do
thinks my
we get to
kid thinks he's
penises?
funny.
I don't know.
It's a phallic fascination. That's what it is.
Yeah,
What he said.
I'd have so many questions, and I think that the problem with this equation is not God, but more man. Because a lot of the things that sound fucked up sound like things that men say and not what God says. Like God said, hey, I gave you the entire planet to you know what I mean, to use and to bring your needs and to take care of and your brother man. But then when it gets down to people, they're all like, oh yeah, by the way, we need you to give us absolutely all of your shit and work for us as slaves. But I just don't see where it says that in the garden story. Did you think God would have mentioned that? But instead, that's not the world that he seemed to set up. So I think the problem in this equation most of the time is man.
Well, I mean, like you know, when Moses came down from Mount Sinai or wherever it was, and you know, he comes down with the 10 commandments. You know, he says, hey, you guys should do this shit, or you guys are some bad shit's gonna happen. There's like 10 basic things you think people would know, like you shouldn't fuck each other's wife. You know what I mean? Like, don't murder, don't kill, don't steal.
I have a sneaking suspicion those are not the 10 commandments. They're just like the things you already know how to do. And there's nobody like Christians have done their fair share of raping and pillaging, so it's not like that was what, you know, those laws were to signify, you know,
I think they're the top ones, right? So like if there was like a ratio or a calendar or like a statistical analysis, like the Christians are the top rapey people. Is that like it?
Yeah, don't you?
I mean, if we're looking at historical
like
numbers.
Well, actually, in the beginning,
I don't know if we can throw that stone, no pun intended, specifically specifically at the Christians. Humanity in general has used every excuse possible to murder your enemy, your neighbors, and steal all their shit. I mean, the Huns were definitely not Christian. They also did not give a fuck.
Yeah, but they created cool stuff.
Christians have created some really cool stuff. The guillotine,
like public school,
the Amish,
the machine gun.
Machine gun. Okay, I can go with that.
Yeah. So I mean, come on,
that was the scientific
here.
backup of Christians.
Wait, I was like, was that guy atheist?
Fair enough. I'm kind of struggling here, but there are some.
Christmas?
Okay,
Can we go Christmas? Christmas is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Father Christmas.
A lot of things had been seen positives until like the last 30, 40 years, and now a lot of those things may seem like the negatives that they are. Because there was a lot of credit given for discovering stuff that there were already people there, which makes it very hard to discover them. And then the excuse is once you discovered them, you once again needed to steal all of their shit. But they marketed it really well afterward.
The Spanish.
The missionary position.
Yeah, I was going to say when the missionaries came over.
They took that one. I think that's a patent.
Well, yeah, the missionaries came over to convert the Indians on the West Coast and down through Central America. It was pretty violent, you know.
Oh yeah, and this is the kicker, okay? So, you know, I guess the guys that were colonizing the world were extremely horrible lovers, because these guys only did it one way. And the deal was, and I mean, you get down there, we're doing it every way you can. You get to India, right? They wrote the book
Kama
on
Sutra,
balance on your head while juggling fruit and playing with feathers. The Indians got the fucking book on it. But in this case, they had to show the native women the correct Christian way to make love, right? What a great job that would be. Yeah, I'm gonna need. We're having a sexual education meeting today. We're gonna need you to form a orderly line so that we can show you how God
Get
would
ready
like
for inspection.
to make love. That's hilarious. I think maybe a ticket system. You'd get tired. There were so few missionaries, and they were all buttoned up. God, you'd get so hot and ugh. That couldn't be enjoyable.
I think somebody mentioned Christmas. Yeah, Christmas is also a representation of several other religions. Yeah, Selma.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
which is
is.
why I don't
Yeah,
understand why we
Christmas
don't make
sucks.
Well,
so much more.
it
So
does
much
it
more.
does doesn't it? It lines up with winter solstice, and I believe that the tree is a pagan belief
Okay, well,
It
related
yeah,
to
is.
but
Yule.
It is.
Yeah.
we have to think
Yep.
about this in like actual terms of the way that the world works. Okay, every culture has harvest festivals 4 times a year. We got 4 seasons. Every culture does that. And when the moon is in its fullest and all of those that's why yes, it is borrowed from tons of different religions to kind of come down to Christianity, but they're really just the last guys holding the ball. Every religion in those areas has a solstice because, well, that's the time of the year.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of discussion, even when the canon was coming out, to incorporate these things into some of these belief systems. I think when the canon was being written, right? Because there was a lot of pagans and Christians were mingling at that point.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
and there was problems in getting people when you convert people. Now the we don't look at it as like as Americans because we are much more interested in the Protestant view of Christianity and the evangelical view of Christianity that's really dominant in the American culture. But for the rest of especially the Catholics, they had real problems converting people, and the way to convert people is pretty obvious, right? You build your church in the same places that they're already worshiping at.
Oh yeah,
You
they
build
built a lot of the
holidays
churches
are
were
on the
built on
same
other things. Yeah.
yeah, on the
so the
same days
Starbucks
that their
model.
holidays are. And we take like Christmas is a big holiday, but especially when you get into South America and Africa, then you've got all these like holidays that they're Christian, but the holidays that they're celebrating have absolutely nothing to do with Christianity. They're just continuing on their cultural morals and just say Christ or Mary instead of the deity that they were already worshiping. The Virgin of Guadalupe is a really good example of that. Nowhere in the Bible is the Virgin of Guadalupe mentioned. Everyone in
Wasn't
South
wasn't she
America
wasn't she like a
worships the
saint?
Virgin of Guadalupe.
She was sanctified or something, right? No.
Well, it's because the entire all of South America worships her as the Virgin Mother. It's a similar story. It has nothing to do with the Bible, but you are not going to convince any of those people that when somebody is having problems in a birth, is having problems in their family, is having problems with their wife, can't burn a candle to the Virgin of Guadalupe and it changed. They sit there, they pray, they still believe that they're Christians, but it has nothing to do with Christianity.
Yeah, it was. I always thought about that. Yeah, there's a lot of saints in the Roman Catholic. That I don't know. They kind of line up with different religions.
Everyone has to have their patron saint. It's the Buddhism of Christianity, and that if everybody has their own view, their own path to God, right, that you will find that own path, and those saints a lot of times are those paths. And there's a saint for everyone. There's a plumber's saint, right? There's a, you know what I mean? There's a saint for absolutely everyone, and it's a way to draw you in. And if everyone in an area worships a certain deity that can match up with something even existential in the Bible, they use that to recruit people. Because of it, you have deities, saints, stories that don't exist in any real Christian canon, but exist all over the world and are still considered Christians.
Hey, I might be able to get us a Christian on and give it just 1 minute. I had to see if he's awake.
Did you say Mormon?
Mormon. Jehovah Witness.
Oh, yeah, I love the Mormons, man. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Like they put in hard work. like they put in hard work. There's a lot of things in Mormonism that's super cool. I think it like answers a question that most people have, like how come God quit talking to us thing. And in their, belief, well, Latter-day Saints, God continued to talk to man and continued to interact with us. But in like biblical text, 3,000 years ago, when he just turned off the phone, that's the last time any of us got to hear from him, right? The Pope gets to hear from him, but even the Pope isn't. You notice nowhere in the Bible does it say the Pope.
Yeah, nowhere does it say that we need to have a religious leader that, no.
No, like that's just not described in there.
Yeah.
And you would think it's something that, he would say, hey, by the way, I'm going to take off, but I'm only going to talk to one of you, and he needs to make all of the rules. Oh, and he needs heaps and heaps of gold. You would think that they would have at least said that on the way out, but nah, not written down at all.
I'm like,
as soon as I'm gone, I want this guy to be uber special. Remember how I said everybody's equal and you're all my favorites?
I don't know. I might get a lot of flack for this, but isn't like the things that like the modern Roman Catholic and these mega churches are doing is the same shit that fucking like Jesus when that weird story where Jesus flips out in the fucking
the money
temple.
Changers.
Yeah, in the temple. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, isn't that like the same shit that they're doing? And I'm just like, there's like a catch-22 going on here.
Yeah, it's so you have to be so hypocritical to exist in both of those worlds, right? To and it's throughout the mega churches. It's prominent in the black churches where you have these assholes that are literally fleecing their people so that they can have nice suits and eat on gold plates and have palaces all over the country, and yet they don't give any of that to their congregation. They don't stand for anything about being a Christian in any way, shape, or form, but yet people follow them. If I give you, they've tricked people in this new thing is that you have to give them, $20 and you'll get $20 in return. And it doesn't say that in the Bible at all. It says reap what you sow. It says it has parables about, about giving, about setting aside your crops for people that need them. It doesn't say that if you give a pastor $20 so that he can get a new limousine, that somehow that's going to make your life better. You guys know from the show, I fucking hate those guys.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of references.
I swear to God, man, I fucking hate that dude.
Well, there's a lot of references, to parables in the Bible. That word lightly. Even in the Torah, the evils of money,
Oh my God, it's so disgusting. And what we saw down here, I stopped at some of the mega churches on the way down to Houston to see if, you guys had trucks or whatever. Man, they didn't. This asshole got in this off-road Jeep with a snorkel on it, right? And it didn't even have a bit of dirt on it. And he said, oh, there's nothing. There's nothing. $100,000 or $60,000 Jeep. And this guy had nothing. They weren't even having prayer sessions, just walking around in a suit. And I know because I am 100% blasphemous against that God, the God that those guys worship. I'm not putting that down as Jesus, as Jehovah, right? Those people have those deities have nothing to do with these assholes. They're just slime, right? Scum. But those deities obviously don't exist because I'm blasphemous as fuck and I walk all over their temple. Every time I go in there, I know that you know what I mean? I hate Cephalodollar. I'll walk right into your church and know that I have no fear from God because you worship the dollar, and that is it.
Yeah, they use God, but they definitely worship the dollar. There's nothing godly about what any of them do.
Oh yeah. And Cephalo, he knows it's personal with him. I hate that motherfucker. Personal fucking private jet. You gotta be shitting me. If I do go to hell, I will enjoy kicking him in the balls every single day.
Wait a minute, you don't have a personal jet? I mean, when George Soros said that I was on the payroll, he gave me a personal jet.
You son of a bitch, George! Come on, dude. Where is the? It's because I'm. This is the racism that I'm talking about in the Democratic Party, right? Why not hire some black people, right? Where is my check? You know what I'm saying?
I
Thoros.
have to read the book "What the Fuck Happened" by Hillary Clinton.
Oh my god.
Mein Kampf by Hillary, right?
Yeah, Mein Kampf. And I think if you Google Translate, it says "My Struggle." Is that right?
I can't believe. Is that really the name of her book?
Yeah, My Struggle.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
Mine.
Nope. And
Nope.
if you look in the back comments, hold on.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
If you look in the
it
back
might be
comments,
because I thought it was called "What
I'm
Happened."
going to translate. No,
It's the same color. as
So what happened
everything,
was
bro.
the new book. My Struggle was the old book, I thought.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. If she did name it, okay, yeah, she is Hitler. I didn't like. I'm always reluctant to use the H bomb, but there we
I
go.
believe
Like
in the book she was talking about practicing voodoo and possession, and Tony
that would
Blair
make
in
her a
the
little bit more
UK
likable. I think she
wakes
just
up.
works for the Goldman Sachs bankers.
He woke up in the bank and
Like, can you imagine Hillary Clinton and Bill over there, like dancing around with a headless chicken, doing some actual voodoo? That'd
well,
be
you
fucking
know, like I
hilarious.
didn't I tell you about that weird video that I don't God I can't find it for the light of fucking day where there's this personal first-hand account of one of the I didn't say what kind of priest, but there is a priest-like guy over at the Bohemian Grove, and sure enough, Bill Clinton is there, and so is Hillary.
Now let's be honest here. Where does voodoo come from?
I believe it's actually
Haiti. Haiti.
Africa.
When
To its roots there.
Haiti, right? It was religions that moved, but at the end of the day, it started in Haiti, and we all know that Hillary Clinton has nothing to do with Haiti.
Well, you know, even there's even the Christian incorporation of the saints with the Santeria, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a mix of a bunch of different things.
I can't see there. Like, I just can't. I would love to see. I would just love to see that.
Oh, Hillary practicing voodoo. Remember, didn't she say she wanted to be a priest or something, and she wanted to like convert?
Oh yeah, she's gonna be. I think Anglican. She's gonna be. We were just talking about Cephalodollar Dollar and those sleazeballs. Why is it taking Hillary Clinton this long to get into religion? You don't pay taxes. They give you millions of dollars, and your mindless followers hang off of your every word. That is like the perfect job for her.
Well, she's already there. I mean, she doesn't pay taxes on her foundation, and
Oh,
she can
and
do all that and make all that money without.
once you're a multimillionaire, you don't pay taxes anyway.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
But no, I mean, come on. If God liked you that much, you would have won the election.
I think I don't know. There was a choice of two bad choices, and I think that she was the worst one. I'm not saying that Trump was any better.
But we're talking about the big God here. Oh boy, can shoot lightning bolts and shit. Turn somebody into salt. Like if God had anything to do with it, then they would have done something about it, and you lost
3 times.
Trump admitted that it was money that got him in. He basically bought his election.
Well, I mean, he's Donald Trump. Has he ever gotten anything satisfying without buying it first?
I don't know. Did you see his car on the day he rode into office? It's like this great big statue of something out of your grandparents' yard, and it's all gold. I mean, it's
of course, of course.
I could see pulling up maybe in a carbon fiber Maserati with a souped out engine, but a statue on the front of the car, totally gold, is just I don't know.
Oh, it's over the top. Like he's went all the way in, like into tacky, and that's really the key. You know what I mean? Like we know you have money, right? You don't need a gold statue. Everybody knows who you are. Like you don't have to put Trump on the back of your car. We can see your hairpiece from the convertible. You know what I'm saying?
I was confused as to where the engine was. I mean, where was the engine at in this thing? The back?
Big gold statue on the front of my car.
Have you guys ever been to like the Trump Towers? And he has a fucking logo, dude. It's a T in the middle of the world. It's fucking creepy, of course. Like a superhero, dude. Like, hey, Trump!
Tony Stark.
I'm here to save America from itself and Latinos.
So I just had this weird fucking like daydream where like he actually does this in front of the mirror with the fucking logo with the king on.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Every morning he wakes up. I'm sure he does. And he's from the age group with the self-help tapes. I'm sure he wakes up every morning. Everything you say is gold. You're an amazing person. Everyone loves you. Let's run the country.
Narrated by Alec Baldwin. No, you got to get Trump. Yeah, he's just like us, man. He does in some way trying, it looks like, to make things better, but possibly making them worse. He does like speak his mind. He's made his own money. He borrowed money and made money. He's put people to work. So he can't be too bad.
I think part of it is what made him the ruthless businessman. The greed is good 80s mentality has fallen out of favor. You know, even all the way up into the 90s, people in Wall Street were still screaming greed is good, right? Do whatever it takes to get to the top. Gold everything, platinum everything, put it on my card, right? That mentality has fallen out of favor, and he exemplifies that world. The things that he had to do, number one, you're not a man of the people, you're a spoiled rich kid, right? And that causes all sorts of problems in the golden spoon one percenter that believes that what they're doing by like kicking people out of their houses, by making money, is somehow putting back into the system that they've taken so much from. They don't believe that they've taken anything from the country. The free taxes, the free building codes, right? The government-funded yachts, the government-funded hotels. They don't believe that any of that made them rich and powerful. Because of it, they continue to use the American people. And Trump himself exemplifies that mentality. And that's why the things that he does always come off so bad. He doesn't hide those facts.
What he does is a lot of what he says. I mean, he did bring gas prices down. He has brought tons of jobs back. But what's it costing, you know?
Well, I mean, in here, like, some things aren't like, look, the South after this hurricane, right, isn't his fault. But that's also not his fault that those jobs have came. Your friends in the oil industry are the reason that we got murdered down here. But that doesn't.
Oh yeah, he's got money in the Dakota Access Pipeline as well as Fargo.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and for the amount of money that he's going to get back in Mar-a-Lago alone in insurance. Like, these guys are making money on America's despair.
Yep.
You know? So like that's what I disagree. He's welcome to be a rich asshole. A lot of rich dudes are assholes. That doesn't surprise me. It's the money, greed, and connections to the banking industry against the American people that bothers me. Right? His entire cabinet is now Goldman Sachs bankers. That's not good. That's not good at all. Even if he was a good guy, it's the Bernie Sanders problem, right? Bernie Sanders is a great guy. He's surrounded by complete and utter corruption, no matter how good he is. And, you know, Trump in a lot of ways is the same way. You know, they both are outsiders. They both are, you know, against the grain. They both say what they feel, but they're surrounded by so much corruption and so connected to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust any politician passing out tobacco pipes at court.
I love Bernie Sanders. I love what he stands for. I love the speeches that he gives, right? I love the things that he says. You can't trust them no fucking way. You're surrounded by a bunch of thieves.
Well, what did you think about Ron Paul, though? Same thing?
No, he was like, compared to Rand Paul, Ron Paul was on the ball. So the dad seemed to really stick to his morals, and I love the way that he gives it to the Republicans, because they would like them not to be classified as Republicans, but I like a lot of their ideas. The flat tax idea, like, why are we not doing that? If to take anything away from Ron Paul, it's the flat tax. Doesn't matter. Look, if you're rich, you pay 10%, right? If you're poor, you pay 10%. Now that 10% of $1 trillion is a lot more, right? So you put more into the system, but those kind of ideas, I don't have any problem with it. I like the libertarian mindset on some things. On some things, they go a bit too far. But I love watching Ron Paul give it to the Republicans because he puts the conservative back into conservatism. No, we ain't spending on nothing. Nothing. Right? I don't want to go.
Him either. He had his hand in his coat, which is Illuminati kind of thing. I don't know about Rand Paul.
They're all like, okay, all of those guys. It's the same as Trump. You're telling me Trump isn't part of the you know. And I don't get into the Freemasons. I don't think that I think they're the most like visual like person, but the group that these guys belong to are much smaller and much more influential than just the Freemasons alone. But yeah, you're telling me Trump's the only billionaire on the planet that isn't part of those groups?
Well, maybe he's not smart
enough. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible.
He's only for the KKK. He's a redneck.
Nah, man, he's. You telling me Trump has driven a fucking pickup truck? Are you out of your mind? Come on.
He's a New York liberal. That's what he is.
Yeah, there's no way. The dude is along. He ain't country. If
he hang around the Clintons since the 1980s.
You ain't no friend of mine, right? He's in a fucking limo. He ain't a good old boy.
Well, you can trust him if he watches porn. That's all I can
say. He's a white shoe boy. That's what they call him.
Yeah, you could and that's one of the, look, George Bush did the same thing. So, George Bush Jr. there, come on. You ain't country. Don't even act like you're not like you're from Massachusetts. Knock it off. You notice nobody else in your family speaks with a Texas accent because you ain't from Texas.
You saying he's
That's true.
A professional Texan from Massachusetts?
Oh yeah, like he goes down there. Look, George Bush Jr. can't even ride a horse. What kind of Texan can't ride a horse? Every Texan can ride a horse. I don't care if you're in a city or not.
Maybe the horses don't like him.
It was a thing. I think it was him in the president of Spain, and they made it. He figured, look, he's a Texan. We do horses. Like we can make a big thing about this. And he brought like this like extremely well trained show horse and said, hey, do you want to go for a ride? And George Bush looked at him and was all like, I don't ride horses. What? What do you do at Crawford Ranch? What do you do down there?
He does a lot of cocaine, remember?
But Trump plays the same thing. Like, oh, I put on a trucker's hat, and somehow now I'm a trucker. Man, you've never driven a truck.
Yeah, I actually think he's one of those guys that actually believes that kind of shit. Like, I gotta. I don't know.
I mean, but there's a certain part of the population that's the only, and that's played at Fox News 24/7. The news spots, and they build this character that does not exist. No, I'm a trucker. He believes in my union. No, he does not believe in your union rights. He's never put in a hard day's work in his fucking life. He's never sweat. He's never had sweat roll down his back, right? He has no idea what it takes to be a blue-collar American, but he made you believe that he does. He runs apartment complexes.
He never.
That's like Sim City's meets Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but I'm not big into the hype with any of those guys. And even with Bernie, I absolutely love Bernie, but as time goes on in this, he's got so much power to do so many good things, and he's not doing very much of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anybody is really.
Well, hell, he got paid off with that new lake house, and he's driving an Audi R8, I think. So he got paid off pretty good. I mean,
he's so old right now. Like by now, how do you get paid off? Like at some point. Like, do you really, in the last, 10 years of life, you could have been such a hero for humanity. Fuck. In an Audi? You got bought off for a lake house in an Audi? Always lowballing us, guys. Always lowballing us.
That's just capitalist nature, maybe. I mean, he's a socialist, until it's convenient, then.
Oh yeah, till somebody put that check in front of him. I don't know how exactly what they've promised him or what they've gave him, but it is kind of obvious to an extent now that he is playing puppet. No, I mean you'd have to be not standing up to Clinton, not standing up to the DNC afterward
Oh yeah.
when your constituents are literally screaming for it.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's
man.
total fucking puppetry. And this time, I don't think this happened after every election. You had Dennis Kucinich coming up with his bullshit. You had all these different runners up coming up with their organizations or whatever to help sheepdog people back into the Democratic Party because people started to notice that there was fuckery going on at every election. Now we've just seen it widespread. And, these people have so much money that they're just going to continue to put out articles that will tell their history. So it gets to a point where their history becomes a searchable history on the internet.
Oh yeah, they know how to, they know. Geez, and when it comes to Time Warner, that is a lot of power. Even working with Google search in the beginning, I know once they got called out on it, they pulled back. But controlling what came out on your searches, making sure to keep out Bernie information and put up Trump and Clinton information as she asked. What bothers me with especially the Our Revolution thing, which I mean, as you guys know, I've been a part of that in certain ways, and I don't mind it. I need to get as many progressives and intelligent people together against these guys as possible, and that was a place to do it. But you'd look on the stage, and it was just a who's who of political corruption that have been in this industry for 40, 50 years. And you'd have to say, look, if you've been in politics for the last 50 years and you're talking revolution now in 2017, what the fuck took you so long? Why didn't you do this in the 60s? Why didn't you do this in the 70s? Why didn't you do this in the 80s, 90s, 2000? Oh, in 2017, all of a sudden, once it became trendy to be progressive, right? Once you started getting called out, now you're on the side of the people. But all the way up until then, you were pushing through TPP with both fucking hands. Yeah, so I mean, it's just me. With me personally, I don't trust lawyers and politicians.
Yeah, and I think Terrence, that a lot of my colleagues, friends are on the board of Our Revolution. A lot of my friends and colleagues throughout the last year that I've met are all about Our Revolution, and they seem to be on the right side of history, but at the same time, they're taking credit for what other people are doing and then putting it out there as it's them. I mean, they took credit for the whole California switching delegates thing, and that wasn't them. They didn't put anything behind it, but they definitely took credit for it. And then they put this whole media campaign about, this is what's happening. It's all changing. But it's kind of died down. The whole thing has just been Bernie now.
Well, yeah, they kind of fucked up because they put Nina Turner in charge there, and I think for a minute, I don't know if they've now second guessed it, but God, I personally know.
I love her.
I'm Nina Turner, and I fucking love her. They should have seen that coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
So they put her in charge there because they desperately need some sort of minority face on the Democratic Party, especially when so many black people and Latinos all over the country have seen that the Democratic Party is not for us. Right, has never been for us. They were the architects of the prison industrial complex, ICE. All of these things were pushed by the Democrats, so they desperately need that part of the vote, and they put her in charge of it to try to get that. And she immediately turned around and started calling them out for being the corrupt bunch of bastards they are.
Yeah,
and I love it.
That's what was to be expected. And that's
if you knew anything about her, you knew she wasn't going to let that slide.
Right. But after that happened, they were just like, oh, we're not going to focus so much on that anymore.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. As soon as she got the mic, as soon as she started talking, because she does this thing that I do it as well. I love it. I will get people talking and joking and laughing and all of that, all the way up, to the first couple of seconds of talking and laughing on the mic, and then I'll fucking turn it on you. And she did exactly that, what you'd expect. Like, as soon as you get it, the Eisenhower moment where when the entire country's looking at you and you have that moment, did you say the truth or did you lie? And very few politicians tell the truth.
Yeah.
Eisenhower is one of them. He got that one shining moment where you couldn't shut him up, and I could, and he could tell the bridled truth, which he did about the military-industrial complex. Nina Turner did that very similar thing with the Our Revolution. Like, oh yeah, I'm down. Let's rise up. Let's unite as a people. Let's do this. But we got to get rid of all of these corrupt assholes. And that was just perfect.
Oh, it looks like the U.S. has decided to send North Korea a Moab.
A what?
A Moab.
Moab, mother of all bombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even think
Where-
they put out the last one.
Where are you seeing this?
Well, I mean,
back
hey,
chat.
I mean, that is sort of a little bit hype. Look, every weapon in our arsenal is at our disposal at any time. It's not like, the Moab is in our arsenal. It's always on the table, right? What weapon you use is what you're told in that situation. Now, they may be making a big deal out of moving it from one place to another, to show. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
a bunch of
You know what I mean?
sideliners
Like, at what point are you all? Does it just? Yes, you have a dick. He also has a dick. Would you guys quit shaming each other, and we can move on? Okay, this is where it comes into the problem. North Korea has nuclear weapons so that we don't attack them. Saying that we're going to attack them doesn't make them make less nuclear weapons. And the fact that they have nuclear weapons, it's the only thing that's keeping us from attacking them.
The Moab is the largest non-nuke bomb the U.S. has.
Yeah. I mean, it detonates the atmosphere, not the area that it hits. It's an absolutely gigantic explosion, but
Giant concussion grenade.
Yeah, like a giant concussion grenade. But then what's at a certain point, are we at that moment where it's what is the end game here? Like, once we know that peace is the end game, why are we wasting our time, our money, our soldiers, our brothers and sisters? Why are we wasting our time when we know the future is in peace?
Yeah. You don't create peace. You don't create more peace by dropping bombs. I can tell you that.
No, but that's not what that's not what they're interested in. And I mean, in this case, look, there is no honor in this fight. Even the guys that normally, you talk to, I've got friends, and fuck, man, they're ready to go to war at any point. God, hell yeah, right? They are ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Right? But even they, in this case, are all like, now wait, what am I doing again? What? Well, they may attack Guam. Oh, it's amazing that y'all give such a shit about Guam all of a sudden. You ever heard an American president mention Guam before? Now it turns out it is our greatest national security risk of the small island of Guam that we've been letting starve for the last 100 years. But now it turns out Guam is the most strategic spot we've ever had. I like how when they were doing the interviews of the people that were on the islands in Guam and surrounding, and how completely lost and confused that they seemed that they were even still part of America. Like, everybody was just like drinking Mai Tais on the beach, and you had these frantic reporters. What are you going to do about the North Koreans in America? We're part of America? Hey, Paul, did you know that we're part of America? Oh yeah, we're North Korea, huh? Yeah, it was those kind of conversations, and everybody on the island seemed both completely unconcerned and completely surprised that we gave a shit.
Speaking of which, I was gonna, bring this up, later, but North Korea, is I believe, and I suspect this for a while. They've done a lot of shady shit, to get money, including exporting drugs, money, making crystal meth in huge facilities, exporting heroin. They were also, I believe, involved in like a bank heist, which they blamed that they thought at first thought it was the Chinese, but they believe it was the North Koreans, and they've been. This didn't even make it to the surface. They were jacking bitcoins from Bithumb, which yeah. So I mean to think that they're actual.
They are straight up super villains.
I straight up like you think that they're like.
Yeah, you are evil to steal somebody's Bitcoin. Shame on you.
I know, right? You make them think like they're out some like sort of evil power, but like they're really scrounging around for fucking money. They're including making drugs within their own country.
Half of the things that we mentioned there, half of the things that we mentioned there are our job, and we always get upset when people.
Hey, crystal meth is our job.
Yeah, we export all the
California
that needs to be exported. And on top of that, it's like, I don't know, the amount of threat that they are to us. You have to think. I mean, they're not selling crystal meth to Americans. They're selling it to the Chinese. That sounds like a Chinese problem to me.
That was that crocodile. That was
their entire manufacturing. Well, that was the Russian consulate's actual answer to what to do about North Korea. Then they were all like, North Korea is not attacking Russia. So we don't really give quite as much of a shit. No threat.
Just send them Dennis Rodman. Let him.
Oh, hail the Supreme Leader!
Yeah, I don't think that the Russians are not in any fear from North Korea. We're not in any real danger from North Korea. We'd like the American people. We're running out of enemies. Is one of the big problems here.
Well, speaking of which, I did want to bring this up. This is something that usually happens precursor to war, and this was some of the topics that we had for the show. Is that there are some countries that are dropping the petrodollar, one of which, including China, will be doing it in the the right yen and gold. And Venezuela officially announced that they are going to, be using an alternate currency than the petrodollar. And this is exactly what happens right before a war.
Yeah, there's a couple of. There's no doubt that every time a country does not want to follow our banking systems, for some reason we need to go to war with them immediately. That's been the case over and over and over again. That was Gaddafi's issue, or our issue with Gaddafi. We were fine with Saddam Hussein until he also did switch to his own currency and his old gold standard.
Well, we aren't going to win against the Chinese, man. I'm sorry, man.
Well, we've arbitrarily put ourselves in number one, and that doesn't have anything to do with living in America and being American. But we're not the biggest country in the world. We're not the biggest economy in the world. We don't have the most resources in the world. England had to learn this lesson as well, right? You're not a global superpower. You're a small country, island off the coast of Europe.
We don't even have the biggest dicks in the world. They cut them all off. Fuck.
But China always has been a superpower. They probably sit about close to number one, and as technology catches up, India probably sits number two. Now, we can't continue to undermine, rape, pillage, and blow up and murder our neighbors to keep ourselves at number one, and then you make all of the other decisions. But at the same time, our issue is with national sovereignty. Right? You're welcome to be America in your own country, and that has nothing to do with exporting the most steel. And you don't have to, You don't have to wreck entire countries so that you're seen as the number one exporter of steel.
Yeah.
I think that this is a time of an apocalypse of sense. If the old running of the world,
financial apocalypse. This shit will start changing.
the old running of the world, the way that things used to be ran, is coming to an end. Those people's world is coming to the end. The same way that all of the kings and priests that thought that they were chosen by God to rule the countries, right? The same as the Egyptian pharaoh. You really aren't gods. They all believed they were, but that world came to an end. Right, this world is also coming to an end, and the 1% rules, the pyramid scheme running of things is slowly coming to an end, faster than they would like, but too slow for my taste.
Had to end
Well,
somehow.
I mean, we say that, except that the consolidation of wealth is still going on. You got, what, 50 people that own half of the world's wealth now? I mean, the people on top are actually getting stronger.
Oh yeah, they're making money
Money-wise.
hand over fist. Yeah, they really are. But
The
that's
narrative
what
is
causes
slipping.
That's what causes this every time, though, is that they are so greedy that they don't know when to pull up. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the let them eat cake problem. You could have satisfied just the few protesters that were out there with a little bit of food, but instead, right, you caused an entire revolution. And these guys are making the same mistakes. They could make money hand over fist. The fossil fuels industry, they could make more money they could possibly imagine. The people would give it to them willingly, right? Say that they are great human beings for switching to wind to solar, right? But they'll destroy themselves and waste all of their money until their companies don't exist anymore, trying to suck that last little bit of greed, that last little bit of oil out of the ground. We'll move on before they will. But yeah, they're still fleecing us, like, as we speak. This isn't like a past tense thing. No. They're fucking us right now.
The hell is that noise, man?
Yeah. I'm slowly but surely. I think they're working on this tower here, guys. I'm gonna lose you.
Yeah, I see.
Oh yeah, Terrence, can you tell them where you're at right now?
I'm about 20 miles south of Miami, so as far south as you can go without using the interstate. The interstate to the Keys is closed off altogether. Where I'm at, like, we're running off of my solar generators on the truck, but there's still sporadic power. When it comes to the islands and the Keys, nothing is getting down there right now. So you guys, we've had the word out to get some trailer solar generators to try to get the hospitals and schools and medical and rescue areas power, but it's slow going. Even to get it back and forth, we have to work with the Coast Guard and send our own boats. So it's a total headache. Why FEMA doesn't show up with big solar generators, I don't know.
They spent it all on bullets.
Yeah, they spend it all on bullets. But they could, you could set up somewhere and immediately have power rather than wait. They're almost a week and a half down below us, from the storm, and they still don't have power. We've only got sporadic power, and I'm pretty close to Miami.
So it's kind of coming and going.
The struggle is real, guys. Like, down below us. I'm still delivering supplies. I'm still pulling trees out of the street. Yeah, it's just it's a constant fight, but we are winning. It just takes time to go we're working our way south, or they're working their way south.
Come on! You know what? Our haters are saying that we're on the couch watching TV, so you gotta continue that image, Terrence. You can't tell them we're actually doing things.
Some of our haters are clairvoyant, and I want to check this out. So I'm thinking of a finger.
Middle finger.
Perfect. I hope that they got that.
I thought you said speaker.
And you guys have seen, I'm a skinny guy, right? I can't be sitting on my ass all day. I don't have an ass to sit on.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have any more ass to give.
Yeah, that's the deal. I mean, the people have been
Yeah.
chewing it so often, there ain't nothing left. But yeah, I can slowly see. I think they have a maintenance like tower that they put up because I can slowly see like the distance from the tower getting farther and farther away. And I am not moving. I don't think.
Well, they just moved the stingray between you and the cell tower, so it's,
Well, okay.
you might see a little change. Don't worry.
Would you just? I'm not done with the conversation here. Can you bring the truck back? What time do we normally close up on here? What, 11 o'clock? So to our most loyal fans, we are gonna drop some extremely good information here at about 11:05. So you're gonna want to keep that very close.
You're in a different time zone.
Yeah, I'm on the, but it's still, the houses did, I mean, I'll tell you guys what I saw. There being no building code, like zoning codes in Houston, fucked them over, like, insanely in comparison to how, Florida, the areas that we went, yeah, there was like wind damage, and you know, if the water came up and flooded from the ocean, there was nothing they could do, but the structures held up fine.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen one house, you know, roof blown off, or I mean, the structures did really, really well in comparison to Houston that was just fucking wrecked. It looked like a bomb had went off. Here, like, there was lots of debris from trees or fences or stuff like that, but, you know, the houses weren't washed off their foundations or directly inside of a flood zone, or just the building codes were so horrible they fell over.
Some of the roads are washed out, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's bridges that got busted here, but, you know, they're like the super long bridges that go between the islands. Your normal roads weren't covered in, you know, 3-4 inches of chemical goo over everything, which was everywhere in Houston. I mean, like 3-4 inches of, I mean, it was like, I mean, how far up do you think our boots that it went? I mean, a good part up to past my ankle in some spots.
Wow.
Right?
You talk about the water or the muck?
The muck afterward.
The muck, yeah, it was at least 6 inches high, and all the plants were dead.
Brown dead.
Yeah, brown dead. Like, there was green above them, and obviously those plants had not been killed yet. But the plants that the water had hit were dead. They were done. And so I still have my boots in the car. I still have to get them decontaminated because we didn't even try to find showers. We were just like, fuck this. We need to get to the Category 5 fucking storm. We'll come back. We'll decontaminate later. If we get SARS, HIV, whatever, we don't care.
Flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah, there just wasn't time for us to clean all of our equipment before we moved to this next.
Flesh-eating bacteria.
Yeah, like we didn't even get in time to shower by the time we got, like, we're on the road moving to help out here. But
yeah, and I read this article today that this guy got flesh-eating bacteria, and it wasn't even after the storm. It was during the storm.
What?
It was during the rains.
Yeah, I believe it. From stuff
and it was out here.
Yeah, from stuff being picked up in these big open chemical cotton. It's something with oil that flesh-eating bacteria thrives in. And I mean, if oil wasn't nasty enough, but in oil, in petroleum, one of the hazards of being exposed to petroleum is you get flesh-eating bacteria.
Really?
Yeah. One of the guys in Kalamazoo also has flesh. He stepped in a hole after the flood, and the oil had pooled in the hole. He sank up to his ankle. The next day, next couple of weeks or whatever, yeah, this flesh-eating bacteria has eaten its way all the way up his leg, onto his stomach, and down the other side.
Oh,
And
You
there's
guys
going
might
to be
wanna be
tons
careful.
more of that.
Yeah. So this the environment of oil seems to grow this flesh-eating bacteria. So
Well-
anywhere that this crap washed over, and it's this weird sludge that's down there. It's not quite all human excrement. It's not quite all like paint stripper chemicals. It's not quite all benzene. It's this weird mix of all of them in one spot. And it's everywhere. It's absolutely disgusting. Like, I can still smell it, even though we're not like when you first got hit in the face with it. I almost threw up, and I've been to like fucking war zones, man. Like
Cleaning the grease
this
trap out at work.
when we were doing the body cleanups in Thailand, right? And some of those bodies had been sitting in salt water for a couple of days, and they still did not have the gag reflex. This stuff, because it's not just the smell of death, it's the smell of those chemicals on top of it. So like your mind can never find something where it can get used to it.
Yeah.
It's always like it affects your nostrils and all of that. And we were wearing masks. Who knows? But that was a stark difference to hear. The ocean came up a little bit, washed some sand over and retreated, but then you weren't dealing with this this contamination zone to try to clean up. So yeah, if I had my choice, I would rather not be calf deep in flesh-eating bacteria.
I don't think anybody wants to be.
Yeah, and doing what we do, it's hard for us to just sit back and look at it. So we get ourselves involved, but we put ourselves in danger. And I don't know about Terrence, but I don't have any medical care. So if I get hurt, it's gonna be lasting effects. It's gonna be done.
Oh, even better. I've got VA medical care.
Oh yeah,
you
even
get the
worse.
worst one, right? Yeah, I was gonna say you got the worst one.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps, but I wasn't in long enough to get health care. So, it's not going to work for me if I get hurt. But these are the dangers we take because our government does not take care of people.
No,
our government is there to protect profits.
We have to pick up the slack. And I mean, neither of us are interested in profit. Believe me, in this last...
Oh, fuck no.
In this last couple of years, I've had hundreds of thousands of dollars, go through my fingers to move to these, to other projects, to build what we need to build. I am not interested in profit, not one fucking bit, not even a little bit, right? Ed knows me on a personal level. I am a very, very hard person to get money out of, right? Everything that I spend on is micromanaged. To the nth degree.
It's hey, we're eating top ramen for the next 5 days. That's the way it's going to work.
Well, we had top ramen with us.
Top ramen? You better be getting that off-brand, dude.
Hey, what's the matter with ramen?
Well, there's nothing the matter with ramen.
Off-brands that are cheaper.
Yeah,
you can get them 30 cents a pop.
Oh, yeah.
I get
tight, sweet when you walk.
Yeah, but on the same thing, the amount of times that we've looked at and they're saying, that there's this chemical exposure, there's this spell, that these people need help here, that these people need help there, that there's a Category 5 hurricane that's going to wipe the bottom half of Florida off the state, and the amount of times we've looked and just said, fuck it, we have to, we don't have a choice. The government will not come and help you. They came out on national TV and said, we will not be coming to help you, at the same time that me and Ed and Nico and Mona are literally driving and telling people we are on our way to help you.
Yeah.
And we've got none of the resources that FEMA has.
Yep. Yeah, none of the resources, maybe more weaponry, but none of the resources. We're good to go.
Let's keep that between you and I. They don't have to know how well armed we are.
Yeah. But yeah,
But no,
I mean, we go into these situations with our instinct to help, not for the camera, not for the fucking selfies. but the fact that we know that there's going to be nobody else to help them will be there.
Yeah, and there isn't like a choice. When we were driving down the highway to get here, and there was literally, I mean, back to back, 4 lanes, bumper to bumper traffic for hundreds of miles coming into Florida, right? And we were literally, there was us, a couple, and some other search and rescue teams, some of the electronic repair guys, and that was the only people on the road. And you would see one of those cars once every couple of miles of another like person, even though the
Yeah.
other side was just packed with cars. It looked like that scene from Walking Dead. Where he's driving in that Camaro,
Yeah.
and you see the other side of the highway, and it's just packed with cars. But then going into the city, you've got as much road as you can imagine. Like,
Yeah.
and we would stop and like hand out, you know, supplies to people or whatever needed, and they would ask you, "Oh, where are you guys going?" Like we were, like they were up north, and we're like, "Oh no, we're going down to Fort Yates, or we're going down to Fort Lauderdale or Miami," and the looks on their faces, like, "No, you know, you guys don't have to go down there, right? You know, we like you. We don't want you to die." And it's one of those you don't have a choice.
Yeah, internally don't have choice. I'd like to give a shout out personally to Austin and Houston Hurricane Relief, Veterans Respawn, Cajun Navy, all the people, all the citizens that stepped up. They were like, you know what? It's going to take the military and everybody else a week to get here. Let's go. They were there in a moment's notice, and they were helping people. The Cajun Navy alone had something like 5,000 rescues. I mean, these guys are just amazing.
And it was guys using their, you know what I mean, their boats, their jet skis, you know what I mean, their personal trucks, like all of it. And it was all funded by the people, by us helping each other. And, and I guess, right now there are a lot of people in activism that people have started to have relationships with, so that there is a lot more trust in where your money's going and all of that. But this was the people that I saw get rescued 9 times out of 10 were being rescued by civilians.
Right.
Where like the big rescue centers were being run by FEMA. And I haven't gotten a lot of video, but I've gotten some really crazy stories from the FEMA camps. I'm not gonna go down that road because I need to verify a couple of things before I do.
Well, there was, I don't know, I just don't want to get like the conspiracy tinfoil hat on, but
Get out of here.
We
always do.
Yeah, I was gonna say they fucking said that,
He says with a giant green all-seeing eye in the background of the anonymous feed.
You don't see nothing there. Hold on, let me move it around. Hold on, let me move it up.
Hey guys,
okay, there's
so the Daily Haze just launched an article talking about the second ballistic missile over Japan, and they have a video.
There's a second
cool.
one? A second one?
How many missiles do these North Koreans have?
This is after the new sanctions. So they just put in a bunch of new sanctions against them. I mean, I imagine he's really close, but I don't like it's not sensational news every time America has a weapons test.
Well, it's just provocative when somebody else does it, Yeah.
And I don't understand why, China, in this case, that would be big news in Japan, right? Japan hasn't been attacked; they're just testing a weapon, right? Where we test weapons all the time. We've got facilities that test, that do nothing but test weapons that are illegal by the Geneva Convention. We've got several facilities that do that. Anthrax, biological weapons, nuclear weapons. Like if it's a weapon, we have it. We're probably working on nanotechnology weapons at this point.
I heard. You know what I heard is that that new fucking laser system that they have that's going to be mounted on the AH-64s. I heard that's actually a violation of the Geneva Convention, using lasers in combat.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's being able to mount. There's a bunch of stuff that we're not supposed to do that we do. You're not supposed to mount weapons on satellites. You're not supposed to weaponize spacecraft. I mean, and I'm sure. Come on. right? But we don't take such offense that, oh, you're testing your new satellite weapon system. That's 100% illegal. That's not news. But we want to make this like whole thing over North Korea testing weapons on their national soil. Now, if you, like I said, if you attack one of your neighbors, then you're expected to get the full force of the American military. And he's not stupid, right? He knows what that means. We have pretty much turned the Middle East into fucking dust at this point, right? When it comes to weapons, we can destroy a country. Whether you want to keep us from invading you with nuclear deterrence is really your business, which is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look how long it takes him to get a new missile ready. I mean, what is it, like 5 days? He can only put up a missile every 5 days. What's the big deal?
I mean, if
yeah,
you threaten to nuke us,
I mean, that's not a great production rate there.
Oh, and those are ones that that the country's been working on for 50 years, and they're still only caught up to the technology that we had in the 60s. It's taken them 50 years to go 10 years in development.
well, they don't have no electricity. Look at them on the world map. I mean, everywhere's lit up in North Korea. You see lights everywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, it really is like, I don't think that any country needs nuclear weapons. I think we eventually need to move past this, this nightmare of war to begin with. But it is that situation where you've got like 20 guys cleaning their shotguns on the front of your lawn, and then they're really pissed at you for also buying a gun. When you open your door and ask what they're doing, they say they're training to take over your house. And then they're mad if you, like, lock the door.
Even Operation Jubilee, where they were training for urban warfare in case of a financial. That was, I remember, Operation Jubilee was actually or not Jubilee. God, the one where they were training
Jade Helm,
Jade Helm, not Jubilee.
Oh yeah,
Jade
Helm.
Yeah.
And
Mountain
those were,
Jade
I
Helm.
mean, yeah, it just. And when it comes, there was a lot of people that were, I mean, fanatic about Jade Helm and the FEMA camps being used to hold American citizens. They were worried that they were going to come in and like kick open your door and separate you from your family and keep you in these dog kennels and blah, 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 blah. But as long as they're doing all of those things, that nightmare to Latinos, it's cool. Where do you think they're putting all the people that they lock up with ICE? In those same dog kennels, in those same holding facilities, in those same concentration camps. They just tricked you into paying for it. Like, the FEMA camps didn't go away. And chances are they knew that's what they were going to use them for. And as long as they're locking up somebody else's family in dog cages, then we don't care. But Jade Helm was definitely part of that, and the ramp up to have these giant holding facilities to hold people at while you're processing them. Which is ultimately how that's ultimately how all of these programs work, is that you have the idea that you're just gonna get them everybody and export them, right? They were just gonna export the Jews to Morocco, but then you have the problem that you have to hold on to all these people and process all these people, and how they do that is with concentration camps. And I bet you dimes to dollars they're using those FEMA camps that everybody was so pissed off about and called them such a nightmare to hold those same people, to hold those same families.
But I mean, look how fucked up FEMA is. I mean, do we really need to worry about them? They can't even get supplies into a city. When they know hurricanes coming. I mean, they're totally disorganized. I mean, what the fuck? I mean.
And with
that's how they were meant to be.
In some cases, weeks to respond to these things. And it's not like, okay, emergencies, we've got like 300 different plans we had 300 different plans on how to kill Fidel Castro, but we never came up with a plan on how to get water to Florida if there's a hurricane.
I guess that wasn't in the theme of
Mic
committee.
drop.
Yeah, it wasn't in there. It just wasn't in the FEMA planning.
Yeah, but they got an app.
They like
And,
yeah.
and they stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Oh, I'd love
What
a
man.
was that? What was
Holiday
up with them needing 300,000 fucking caskets, man?
Inn. You know why they needed 300,000 caskets?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you could stick 4 or 5 bodies in each one, so it's easy to
Yeah.
a
multiply.
couple million people, yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
they're
mean,
thinking
some of
about
it.
killing you. They just can't figure out how to do it yet. A natural disaster is a good way. They just shut down all the media, don't let any supplies in. Yeah, there's some people going to die, right? I mean, if you fuck up
Oh,
that bad, yeah.
and especially people that they see as being a draw on the system. So the extremely young, the people with health problems, and the elderly. Those are the people that are most affected by these hurricanes. Look, a young, strong man,
Yeah.
in 90-degree heat, dude, I can go, it doesn't really affect me. Now, a 70, 80-year-old woman that's costing their health insurance for the state, right, it does affect them. So, no, they're not shedding any tears that you didn't make it through the hurricane. Like, that's saving them money. And that's how they view people, right? You're a consumer, right? Your job is to make is to buy my products. Once you're not buying products, you're useless to that system.
True. That is true. What is
Okay.
does anybody know what FEMA's budget actually is?
It can't be more than 18 billion, right? Because that's what they just released. But yeah, it's a couple billion.
Couple billion? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a couple billion. I'll look it up
Yeah,
right now.
they've already supposedly gone over it already.
Yeah, they've already wasted all of it.
Really? I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, annual budget 13 billion. They spent 13 billion in like to so that's their annual budget, which they've already went through with the hurricanes and the wildfires. So basically, I think what they probably spent a lot of that money in is renting these
Holiday
is
Inns.
renting is renting out the stadium. And the stadiums obviously charge them. It's not like they would do the right thing for their cities that built the stadiums. But that's probably some of it. They've went through it already, so it's not like that has to do with any sort of cleanup.
Well, they ain't doing shit on the wildfires. I haven't even heard of FEMA being out at a wildfire.
Neither did
They're
I.
nowhere to be found. And if they're, I
Oh,
mean,
and
if
they're
they're claiming
actually like,
wildfires, that's bullshit.
well, and like the annual budget's 13 billion, but then the parent department, it's the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, DHS. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure. Is there any way for us to activate all of those PSA agents and have them do something fucking useful?
Okay, hold on. Let me go outside real quick. Here's explosion.
Explosion. Okay,
You know what?
so FEMA doesn't spend any money, or they don't actually do anything. So what the hell are they spending money on?
I think if they're on the same spending budget as DHS, like they spend all their money on fucking weapons.
Now wait a minute.
Oh, and
Did
PowerPoints.
you guys not see the monogrammed FEMA water bottles? You guys have any idea how much it cost to make monogrammed water bottles? I bet you they spent at least a couple billion in advertising. Every radio station, all the electronic billboards, all said donate to gave like websites to FEMA and the Red Cross. So I know they spent a lot of money on that.
I don't know. Like, you ever
What
listen?
a joke.
You ever listen to Jello? Remember that punk rock band? God, the lead singer Jello Biafra. You ever heard of his spoken word albums about how the United States mismanages their money?
Yeah, I don't see how we can be the biggest drug dealers and the biggest arms dealers in the world and not be making a fucking profit. The guy at the end of my block fucking sells dime bags and he's making fucking money over fist. But yet you guys are the most powerful drug dealers in the fucking world and can't make a profit. We should be rolling in money.
Well, to be fair, so the first thing they teach you in the colonized business world is to make sure that your actual profit and loss statement doesn't show actual profit. So, because the more profit you make, the more taxes you get. That's like colonized business 101. So, I can't blame them. I mean, they're hiding it somewhere.
501(c)(3).
Well, Ray, do you hear this shit about the Southern Poverty Law Center stashing $69 million in offshore banks?
No, I did not hear that.
I mean, everybody is in it. Yeah, that was like
Were they
3
were
days
they
old.
part of the Panama Papers? I still haven't gone through all of that yet. The Panama Papers, where they showed where all the people were stashing their money off the fucking coasts.
Yeah, and
Oh,
remember when Trump was going to make them bring all that money back and then tax it? I haven't heard him mention that at all.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's,
watch. He has an account with them too.
Of course he does. Like, I don't understand. Like, some of these guys, you already don't pay taxes. Why? Like, you're putting it to a tax haven when we already don't make you pay taxes.
Isn't all that shit related to like 450 of the top CEOs within America or some shit?
Oh, yeah, they all hide their money down there. It was just it seemed completely the fact that our governments, and I think the English, Australian, and New Zealand governments, like acted like this was such shocking news. Like, oh my God, did you know that people are hiding their money in the Cayman Islands? No way. No.
Oh man, Apple.
Like, I thought every mafia don on the fucking planet knew that you hid your money in the. It was like them coming out and acting like bank accounts are a new thing. Like, half the people that know about the Cayman Islands, they don't even know where the Cayman Islands are. The only reason they know that name is because you launder money through there. But every government seemed so very, because there was that spot in Massachusetts, was it, that like everybody, New Hampshire, one of the two that everybody was laundering their money from as well? Like a bunch of corporations have their headquarters there?
It's
Delaware.
Yeah.
Delaware, there we go.
And Las Vegas.
Yeah, and just they were completely, what? No way!
Is this related
These rich
to
and powerful people are hiding their money overseas?
No! Isn't this related to the HBC bank or whatever it was that was known? I don't know. That's something else.
No, they were laundering cartel money.
Cartel money.
Yeah, there was one of them that was just straight up laundering cartel money,
and they knew it. They
not even hiding.
Yeah, they weren't even hiding it.
They had special windows for the cartel people.
Of course you would. You want to make them feel special.
Yeah, I mean, and then they got their wrists slapped. You know, it's like they made $1 billion, and they only had to pay like a $50 million fine. You know, and they say crime doesn't pay, and they got caught again while they were on probation for the first time. They got caught doing it again, man. It's incredible.
When the fines are so much smaller than what you're doing, the pipelines are the same way. So if you lay 100 miles, 200 miles of pipe in a state that you're not supposed to push oil through it, right? The fine for it's $1,500. Oil company don't give a fuck about $1,500 fine.
Yeah, they had everybody up there going, "Oh man, they fucked up. They're going to get their ass hammered." And they had him $5,000 fine.
They're to the full extent of the law, and they're like, "Man, their hotel rooms cost more than the fine that's going to do. The party that they're going to have on how stupid of a fine that is going to cost more than the fine." Like, it's one of those where you tell them the fine, and you're all like, well, they're asking, "Oh, do you take cash?" I'm sure I've got that in one of my couch cushions somewhere.
$5,000. No, I pissed $5,000.
Yeah. All I had is these hundreds that I use as toilet paper.
Oh man. So I bet everybody. I bet it's going to be the same thing for Tiger Swan, right? If they got caught being in North Dakota illegally, I mean, they're going to get their ass hammered for that, right, Terrence? I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
It
going to be a
wasn't
huge
like they
fine
were
for that. I
operating.
mean,
It's not
yeah,
like they were operating a small terrorist organization,
yeah,
infiltrating our police departments and beating up on U.S. citizens in a state that they don't have the proper paperwork to operate in. They
yeah.
wouldn't get in trouble for doing something like that, would they?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
heads are going to
yeah.
roll on that one,
Heads are
man.
going to roll on
Heads
that
are going to
one.
roll.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
type of,
yeah.
yeah,
Go. That's what Betsy DeVoe's brother
Yeah,
oh,
Eric
that's
Prince.
right.
that
Oh,
owns Tiger
yeah.
Swan.
No. So Eric Prince owns Academy. James Marks, Spider Marks, is the guy that came from Academy, and he owns Tiger Swan. If you worked for the company, Terrence, you would know this. I
Oh yeah.
am.
Yeah, sorry. I don't have the inside. Look, man, all we have is the email hacks and the website hacks. So, like, our information can be spotty at times.
Well, here's the funny thing, like I wasn't snooping on their fucking shit, but I'm just saying, who the fuck who the fuck is a security company and makes a fucking WordPress page?
I
Come on.
know, it blew my mind. Guys, as soon as I am not going to lie to you. I had a hard on by the time I noticed that that they were using a
You
completely
type
open
you
WordPress
type
page.
you type in
Like I
slash
was
you
typing
type in
with
slash
a hard
admin.
on at that
You
point.
just type in on the last slash, type in admin, and you have the admin panel that's right there.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful, and I mean they've got like their super secret clients, and there's some sort of fucking oh my
You have
god, no,
150.
you don't even know how to use a computer. And we pulled so much between everyone. We pulled so much information from that fucking site, man. It's gonna bury that company.
I don't know.
They'll just turn into another one, but I will definitely go to all of their trials with a smile on my face. Just send them like little messages every once in a while. Oh hey, what's up doing? How's business? Oh,
Speaking of, what's up with the Equifax stuff, man? Anything new on that?
What?
look,
On
I
what?
haven't
Anything new with by Equifax?
I haven't gotten any. Like I
Oh,
know that there was the leaks. I know that now they
oh.
have some.
So I got an update on what happened at Equifax, right? So not only was like 90%, as they say, it could have been up to, I think, somewhere 70 to 90% of most American Social Security numbers and financial data. Some, I think, driver's license might have been included on that list. Were taken. I believe the hackers want $2.5 million or 600 bitcoins. And say
Yeah.
they won't release it. Oh, they won't release it. I think they have till September 24th, or is it September 14th? It could have been today.
Oh man.
And not only are they trying to cover their asses about what had happened, the CEOs from Equifax, what they're telling people is that on the disclaimer on their website, to see if your data was breached, you will have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, just saying that you will not file a class action lawsuit. And they're trying to like put it like in the really fine print. And after you sign this non-disclosure agreement, they're saying, and here's the fucked up part, unless you like really read into it, is that they're offering people 1 year of free credit report ratings, knowing full well most people will forget about this shit within a year, and then charge them a fee. So not only are they're also trying to flip a bill and make money off of it. But the U.S. Attorney General told them to take that shit off their fucking webpage, and they have failed to do it. I think what they're doing is
Wow.
100% illegal. Somebody's going to
Oh,
fucking prison.
hey, look, they sold a bunch of stock too before the news came out. I mean, they're hooked in, big time. You're trading stock on known bad information that is coming out. Come on, you can't do that.
I wonder how many people were actually social engineered into giving out their bank account and their social security numbers and Equifax.
What I heard is that they might not have the full, what is it, 1, 2, 3, that they might only have like 4 or 6 numbers, but it's enough. It's enough to go off of to to do a lot of shitty shit with somebody's information.
Well, they're
Oh,
the
yeah.
ones that pull the credit reports. They got
Yeah.
fucking everything, man.
But still, like,
I mean, hell, well,
I mean,
one of the easiest ways to.
this goes into a lot of discussion about like are social security numbers even are even safe to have. Should people even have new social security numbers? I know for where it comes from, it's probably a bad idea to begin with. I don't know. I mean these guys are not are sounding all apologetic, but when you read into it, they're really just trying to CYA. They knew about this data breach. I think it was May was the first one that they knew about. They didn't come clean until the last month. Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
a major. Yeah, it's a total screw up, man. I mean, this is what you got forward to look to. With these companies nowadays, man.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Criminal.
the eyes of the corporation. You always do what's best for the corporation, right? Now what's in the best. Now what's the right thing to do?
Well,
Well,
credit's a scam anyways.
it used to be you had to be ethical too, but that dropped out quite a while back. Probably the 70s or so.
I was gonna say, yeah.
60.
There's no ethics when it comes to corporations.
Yeah, then it became all just the ledger. It's like, hey, it's all about the bottom line. So now it's about the bottom line. It's just like, hey, you paid into your insurance all these years. Oh, now you need something. Oh, fuck you. You're old. What the hell do you think this is? You're affecting our bottom line. That's good fascist healthcare for you.
You know what I actually see coming out of this? I do see a class action lawsuit. I do see Equifax still in the thing, and as far as this fucking like problem, as far as it has gone, and what we should actually do, the correct thing to do with this problem is probably rethink how the fuck the whole social security number and the whole system to begin with. But what I think is really going to happen is a lot of fucking nothing.
They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Brush it under the rug. Pay people off.
Yeah, they'll be watching your account, and then when it gets, if something looks bad, they'll let you know, and they'll try to shut it down. But yeah, they're really not going to do anything. All the data's out there anyway. They can't do anything about it. It's already stolen.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what they should. I mean, I don't know. Pardon any reportable or fictitious things on your credit. I don't know.
Well, you don't need much of somebody's credit card number to order anything offline anyways. All you have to do is have the access code. It's not really confirmed, so you probably got somebody out here ordering stuff off of eBay, having it sent to a PO box for somebody under somebody else's name and collecting it.
Well, I mean, essentially, what the data was sold. I mean, if you could pull it off, you could probably buy a couple of cars, with somebody else's identification, and
You can get most of somebody's information from Facebook, anyways, or their LinkedIn account. You don't really need much to do a scam.
that is true.
Not like that, anyways. I think it's what they call a first level carding. So I think second level carding is actually loading the card onto a credit card or a rescannable gift card.
Well, yeah, carding is a guaranteed. I swear to God, anybody who thinks they can get away with carding for very long has got another thing coming. Everybody I know who's tried to pull one of those off is fucking in jail.
But Equifax, if you keep, debit cards seem to have more of a problem because they can just straight pull money out of your account if you have it. But like if they get pissy, if they burn you on a credit card and these agencies get pissy, well, you can just burn them on the card. It's just like, hey, as long as that's the deal, I'll just stick it to you, right? It's nothing personal.
It's just data,
Just
right?
business.
I mean, you already got them, right? It's unsecured debt, so fuck it. You know? I mean, two can play that game.
Yeah, and what's funny is that they were warned. They were warned about this. I believe it was the Apache that had the flaws in it, and they were warned about this several times that this is breachable. You know?
They were using a Apache 2 Unicorn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The flaws were known about. They just didn't do anything about it. Did we lose Terrence?
Yeah, he did say we might lose him.
Yeah,
They're still working on lines.
he's down there doing his thing. I tried to tell him, hey, come on back. We'll hang out in Texas, but he wanted to hang out in Miami.
A grilled cheese sandwiches at least.
I was like, homie, there's no power. Like, you're going to be hanging out at these clubs and ain't no music.
South Beach is better than 6th Street.
See some new territory. Never know. He might get married while he's there.
So you're back in Houston right now. You're still doing the pickup relief.
So yeah, so we just got back to Austin. We're taking a couple days, kind of regroup here, and then my thoughts is either I'll go to Corpus Christi or Houston, and just kind of check in and see what's going on down there and help where it need be. I have the gear; I can help where it goes, and I actually have a friend of mine, a colleague that's on dispatch with Cajun Navy. So, I mean, wherever we need to go, we need to go. I'm having a little bit of an issue with the veterans respawn people right now, but that's childish bullshit. We got a cook that's like, oh, well, you guys should pick up a shovel instead of an iPhone. I'm like, don't you know that my main primary function is media? Like, but I will help where it need be because that's who I am. But my primary function is media. But I don't know. So we'll probably do our own thing and just kind of go out and report where we need to be and kind of just forget about all those people that, want to get likes and clicks.
Oh, speaking about iPhones, yeah, this was something that. So now the new iPhone infrared camera, the new I forget what they're calling it. But anyway, bottom line is it's having facial recognition software built in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically they can tell exactly who you are at all times unless you're wearing a mask.
Oh, here maybe I can tie it. Maybe I can tie it into the September 23rd shit. So, all right. So check this shit out. So check, you know how. All right. This is off the wall, but you know how they have.
Jesus has my iPhone.
No. Remember how they had the fucking they had the on the they have the Apple Pay. So now they're going to be using the facial recognition for the to pay.
Yeah, the biometrics. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's going to recognize you by your biometrics.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I was actually reading about that tonight for my hardware software class.
Wasn't that described in Revelations? Yeah, the hand and the forehead or whatever the fuck it was, the mark of the beast.
Well, it does say the mark of the beast. It would be done by your hand or by your forehead. So I reckon it would. I guess it would qualify.
I don't know. That's off the wall. But what the fuck?
If you're gonna pay for something with your face, a lot of people ain't gonna get nowhere.
I know that with this facial recognition software, you can pretty much get anybody deported or in jail as long as iPhone knows about it. And two, I'm not okay with it.
No, neither am I. Knowing full well that the government does have full back access, I believe, at this point to to iPhone, and not only that, like if you allow them to even have you send up the data analytics back to Apple. Did I just say Facebook? I meant Apple. Um, they're I don't know. I don't see this going very well.
I don't know. I went for a cruise with my brother a couple nights back. He said, "Let's go to Walmart." So we go to Walmart, and we walk in, and there's cameras everywhere. There's even a monitor in front of you to let you know you're being recorded. So, it already tells me that the facial recognition technology is already in places like Walmart.
Yeah,
And
with the incorporation. Remember Trapwire?
yeah.
Yeah, that shit's already out, man.
Oh wow. See, and the only way to beat that out is, everybody's gonna have to go get a fluorescent face tattoo or just walk around with fluorescent face paint.
Remember with Operation Smash a Cam that kind of went nowhere, but that was another op that kind of went nowhere. But
Oh, you talk about the black bloc thing where they want everybody to go around smashing road cameras.
no, it was a non-op.
Oh.
Yeah, Operation Smash a Cam, Trapwire.
Silly string them or whatever,
Yeah,
paint them, smash them.
yeah.
There are plenty of them around. Roanoke, Virginia has plenty. My area has plenty.
Well, Chicago is littered with cameras. You can't go anywhere without seeing them.
Yeah, 3 years ago they asked for, I think it was 10 different states to help participate in the cameras, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And each street light or stop signal has a camera to it. Each street pole having a camera to it. It's pretty wild. A lot of transparency.
Yeah, I just don't like that facial recognition software will be integrated into your phone. I don't know.
Oh, it's here to stay. I mean, what are they
Well,
using
and
Snapchat now to push that?
I just wrote an article about that, about the raping of Mother Earth and all the minerals that go into an iPhone. But the iPhone X is like the Samsung Edge. It actually looks exactly like Samsung Edge without a home button. So I'm sure there'll be more lawsuits and more bullshit going on. Steve Jobs wasn't down with the government backdoor like Bill Gates was, but I'm sure Tim Cook is by now. I just can't see that
Well, I
anybody.
remember they fought it, and I remember the FBI got in anyway. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
And
it's all a game of politics. Back then they're both slapping each other's asses and giving each other a high five. Like,
yeah, yeah. Fucking
I would
bastards.
drop it off in truckloads of pennies.
well, they want you to think that the phone companies are actually trying to fight for you for your individual freedoms and shit, but they're not. Oh God, no.
Nope. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump off. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do, writing, whatever. But I don't know. I love you guys.
All right, good night.
Oh,
All
have
right.
a good night, Preston.
You too.
Ed,
Peace.
sorry.
Uh,
Wow.
I think we, I
Yeah,
think,
where to now?
yeah, I think we covered all the topics for tonight. Uh, I don't have anything left. You guys?
No, I'm pretty much out.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
I'll run with the end credits, and we'll roll out. Thank you for everybody listening. What else? What else? What else? The numbers that are showing on Facebook are we're being censored hardcore. We'll have to figure a way around it. But thank you guys for listening and tuning in.
Yeah.
And we're out with the credits.
We're getting.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.